Good morning and welcome to your PrimetimeSports.com. Another edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts and Bakery. I'm Dave Grimm.
I sure do miss I Got a Feeling.
Yeah, I know.
I want that back on there.
Yeah, but YouTube goes nuts when we do that.
Well,
We got to watch our P's and Q's.
Do a 15-second segment instead of a 27.
We'll see.
I got a feeling.
I'll look into that for you. I'm Dave Grimm. That's Clifton Garmrath already giving me a hard time this morning. Luckily for me, he's going to be going and shooting pictures here for a while.
I'm wired 220 this morning.
I noticed. And
I don't know how. We get in after midnight last night from that road travel. I'm dead dog tired, went straight to bed, popped out of bed this morning. I've been wired 220 ever since.
Well, and I think I know.
Cardinals, that's it.
I was just fixing to say that.
The Cardinals won. The Eagles finally won a conference game. Beebe finally won a conference game.
We were driving home last night. We were in separate cars. We were both listening to the same thing on the radio, Cardinals baseball. It was 7-5. Washington Nationals were like 2 strikes away from winning the ball game and going on to the National League Championship Series. And then all heck broke loose on the Cardinals side, and they went up 9-7. And held them off in the bottom of the ninth to win. And I called Clifton from my car to his car. I said, "Are you listening to this game?" And they were yelling on the phone, "Yeah, we're listening to the game."
They walks will bite you every time.
Yep.
And the pitcher for Washington walked back-to-back players, Molina, and trying to remember who the one for Molina was. But anyway, it bit them. Got them.
Cardinals are once again in the National League Championship Series, trying to go to the World Series for the second year in a row. They'll face the San Francisco Giants on Sunday night.
You know what I like about that? I think they have a better opportunity beating the Giants because there's such a rivalry between them and Cincinnati, and that's a tough team to beat. For St. Louis, anyway.
Right. For Cincinnati has St. Louis's number more so than San Francisco would. So it will be not as pressure-laden on the Cardinals in a series with San Francisco than it would if they'd played the Reds.
Which I was in shock that San Francisco swept Cincinnati at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati goes up 2-0 in San Francisco, headed home to Ohio to try and finish it off, and could not get the job done in 3 games.
But, San
Francisco won.
They haven't been swept all year long. Do you know that? Cincinnati hadn't.
They had not lost 3 games
They had not lost a series.
Home.
Yeah.
Also, that was the first time this year that they had lost 3 games in a row at home.
Yep. So, which I'm not a Dusty Baker fan, so bye-bye Cincinnati. See you later.
Okay, and on the AL side, we'll just briefly touch this.
I was pulling for Baltimore.
I was too.
Hadn't been there in a long time. My friend Bill Taylor's a Baltimore fan. He even has his man cave painted in Baltimore colors where his flat screen's at, and he's got some Baltimore Oriole memorabilia hanging on the wall.
So his man cave looks like Halloween, orange and black, or orange and dark brown.
If you want that.
Yeah.
He has black carpet and orange walls, and it's a neat place to go sit and watch a football or a baseball game. It's his man cave. It's his place, when him and Linda built their house. Yeah, how about putting that on vibrate there, Pard?
Just all of a sudden, I hope that's not one of my guests calling in to say they can't come in.
Well,
anyway.
You can look.
I have no idea. So, yeah.
One of my
Orioles
guests.
Lost. Okay, I scheduled most of the guests today, so that's what I meant by that. Anyway, so I was pulling for Orioles also for 2 reasons. I like the Orioles. I always have. I've been a big Cal Ripken fan all my life. But I also don't like the New York Yankees. And I can't really think of a time I ever have. So I'm hoping Detroit pulls that one out in the ALCS.
I do too. But
it's been a while since the Tigers been to the series, so
it'd
be nice.
I would like to say this. I'm a history buff of Major League Baseball, and I collect a lot of things from Major League Baseball. Now, the Cardinals and the Yankees have not played each other in the Fall Classic since 1964.
Been a very long time. In fact, Mickey Mantle was still playing for the Yankees the last time they did that.
I would like to see that World Series between those two again, with the Cardinals coming out on top, because they did it in '64, and the St. Louis Cardinals are the second a team with the most World Series wins behind the New York Yankees.
That's right.
And that would just
have the two most storied teams in baseball face off against each other for the first time in almost 50 years.
Yeah. Now, let's move into football.
Okay, let's talk about 5A East High School football. We were at a doozy of a game last night. It was Batesville at Wynne, and it was well worth the hype that was given the game all week long, all season long. The lead up to this game has been huge. The score is not indicative of how the game actually was. Final score is 40-27 Wynne, but Wynne scored that last touchdown with under a minute to play. So it was a 7-point ball game until Wynne iced it with, 50 seconds left to play, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
it was 20-20 at halftime, and, it was just...
They tied the game 3 times. Batesville was tied with them 3 times, never took the lead, could not get over the hump. Wynne held them off.
And, I was impressed with Wynne's defense, just like I was against Greene County Tech. They have an awesome defense. They made it hard on Batesville last night. Harden had a hard time. He was sacked several times behind the line of scrimmage. They struggled. They didn't even, in the first half, they never had an offensive touchdown. They had, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, right there at
the
end.
Half.
Right
yes.
there. Yeah, right before halftime.
1-yard plunge.
Yeah, right. But they, to that point, almost the whole first half, they had 2 field goals, and they had a pickup, a loose ball on the ground from a defender who ran it in.
They had a scoop and score is what they call that. And that made it, at that point, 20-13. And they poked it in right before halftime on a 1-yard touchdown run to tie it at halftime 20-20. Man, it was a fantastic game. It was the best
crowd
game we've
was
had all
into
year.
it. I mean, we were on the visitor side in the press box, and we were right below Batesville, or right above Batesville, and man, they were into it, and we could hear Wynne across the way, and their stands were full, and there was people on the sidelines. It kind of reminded me of a Paragould Tech game.
It was. I bet you they don't have a bigger turnout for one of their games this year, even probably in the playoffs. Right. I bet you they have. That was the biggest gate they will have all year at Wynne.
Well, it was a dandy.
So that put Wynne in first place and Batesville in second place in the 5A East standings. And then now Forrest City moved into a tie with Batesville for second place, but Batesville has beaten them head-to-head already. They're in a tie records-wise, but Batesville has the edge over them in the head-to-head because Forrest City won over Paragould last night, 34-7. The Beebe Badgers got their first conference victory of the season. In fact, it may be their first win period of the season. Had they won a game so far this year?
Don't know what their complete record is.
27-26 at Blytheville. Big confidence booster for the struggling Beebe Badgers, and a tough loss for Blytheville.
Yeah, that was a tough loss for Blytheville, especially being at home, and you always want to have that home field advantage. And I'm not sure. It seems like that 1 week Blytheville plays a good football game, and because we've seen them play a couple of times this year. We've seen them play against West Memphis, and even though that game was called at halftime because of lightning, they seemed really solid that first half. They had an opportunity to go in at halftime with a 13-7 score. Down on the goal line, they couldn't get the ball in. So,
with youth comes inconsistency, and that is one of the things that Blytheville is battling this season. They're still in the playoff hunt, and we'll go over that in just a minute. But we got one more score to go over with you. Greene County Tech finally gets over the conference hump and gets their first conference win. They played at home last night against Nettleton and won it by 8 points, 35-27.
Yeah, that was a big win for Tech. They needed that. They needed to pull off that home victory. They let one get through their fingertips the week before. Nettleton, a very good, I feel like a very good football team, well coached. We've seen them play a couple of times this year. Good speed on the outside. A lot of running backs in the backfield that run the ball for Nettleton. I think we had 6.
A whole bunch. What, six in the first rotation,
right?
And then 3, 4 more when they put the B teamers in after that.
And they all ran the ball well.
They're really loaded at running back.
That was a good victory for Greene County Tech. So I would have loved to have seen that game last night. So
I want to briefly go over the standings and where everybody's sitting in the playoff picture at this time after Week 7. And then we'll take a very short break and bring in our first guest. In the 5A East, Wynne, sole leader, top of the standings, 4-0, undefeated in conference play. And also, they have 52 playoff points. That's a maximum that they can have at this point after 4 games, because you can only get up to 13 playoff points. It's all according to your margin of victory. And they've scored more than 13 in each margin of victory. In fact, they just got 13 last night. With that last touchdown, they got another 13. Mm-hmm. So, 52 playoff points, and in first place, the Wynne Yellowjackets. Second place, Batesville, 3-1. They're in second place for 2 reasons. They have won the head-to-head against Forrest City, and they got more playoff points. So, they got a double whammy on the second place. They've got 39 playoff points. Forrest City in third, 3-1 also. 31 playoff points for them. Now it's going to get muddy after this. Holding on to fourth place by a thread are the Blytheville Chickasaws, 2-2 in conference play, and they only have 11 playoff points. Their margins of victory have been small in the 2 games that they won. There is a log jam at fifth place. 4 teams with a 1-3 record, the leader of which is Nettleton, 1-3 with 13 playoff points. Then you have Greene County Tech, 1-3 with 8 playoff points. Paragould, 1-3 with 7 playoff points. And Beebe, with their 1-point victory last night, 1-3 with a single playoff point. So it's going to be a dogfight for the 4th place spot. And we, believe it or not, the game that we have Friday night now has more significance. Greene County Tech at Beebe. That game is crucial for both teams to keep them alive in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game that we're going to be calling next week. So it's a big game for both teams for that number 4th position.
All right, so that's the 5A East last night and the standings as of now. Sometime before the end of the show, we'll go over who the 5A East teams are playing next week. Now, you're going to go
I'm going to go take some pictures and be back.
Photographs.
Mr. Bobo's here, ready to go. And he's got a state shirt on, and I'm not sure which state. It's like Arkansas, but
I got a feeling that came from Rock City Tees. Yeah, it sure did. We're going to take a break. He's going to go. I'm going to stay here. Our first guest, Brad Bobo, Director of Broadcasting and New Media and Sports Marketing at Arkansas State University. Hometown boy. We'll have him in 2 minutes on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Welcome back, yourprimetimesports.com. One of my commercials just flat disappeared, but that's okay. I'm Dave Grimm. Clifton is on his way to go shoot photographs, and I am already with our first guest of the day. He is the Director of Athletic Broadcasting, Athletic Marketing, and New Media for Arkansas State University, and he's also from right here in Paragould. First time we've had him on yourprimetimesports.com. Brad Bobo, thanks for coming in, man.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys, I want to start out, since they can see it, say that you were 100% correct.
Let's move your shirt.
That,
There you go.
We are going with the retro A-State shirt from Rock City Outfitters, which is perfect for homecoming. This was actually an A-State, one of the athletic logos back in the 60s, I think.
Wow, really?
And
that's
so
sharp looking. I like it.
So
you didn't bring me one though, did you?
Brought it back old school style for homecoming tonight at Arkansas State.
I like it, and I like the history of the different logos. For, not just for Arkansas State, but you go back and look at some of these logos for these different college teams. There's some really cool, wild-looking logos for some of these different college teams.
There are, and unfortunately, we've lost part of that because of the mascot change. One thing we had to do with the NCAA when we made the mascot change was we basically had to abandon control of all of our old Indian marks. So, one of the things I'm over at A-State is our licensing and everything that our logos and marks appear on. A big part of licensing nationwide, a humongous part of it, is a program called College Vault, which is just what you're talking about, where
retro
schools
stuff
release things with their old logos. We kind of don't have that because of the fact that we had to release control of those marks. So, so
if you go back far enough, you could get some A-State, or actually, I don't even think it was called Arkansas State at the time. It was I don't even remember what it was called at the time, but the Gorillas.
Yeah, and and that was before there were logos. So because we were the Indians.
Was there a logo even at that time? Wow.
Because we were the Indians for 81 years.
Yeah.
The Warriors 1 year before that.
Were they the Farmers at one time? Or something like that?
They were the Aggies.
Aggies, that's right.
Because our college or our school actually started as as an A&M, as an agri and mechanical school. So yeah, technically they were the Aggies, and that was probably before there really were actual nicknames. But
yeah, we're going way back.
81 years worth of the Indians, and we had to abandon that.
Ignored now. Yeah, that's tough. That's hard to do. And there are still some schools that are getting away with, like Florida State, or let's see. Syracuse changed to the orange, so they're not the orange men anymore.
But Florida State,
Illinois.
Illinois, although they did retire, they had their chief Alinawek, their Indian sort of mascot, but a live character. They retired him. Utah Utes is still a Native American. What the NCAA did back when they initially made their stance against those Native American nicknames, they came out right out of the chute and said it's across the board. If you have anything Native American in your name, it's got to go.
All right, I remember that.
Well, at that point in time, the Arkansas States of the world knew, well, we could kind of just sit back and watch because Florida State will fight them. Florida State will win.
They've got clout.
And then, everybody else can kind of just go along for the ride. Well, they wised up to that too, so they went back and amended their stance to say if you're affiliated with a specific tribe and the tribe says it's okay,
signs off on it,
you're good, which is fine because the Seminole Nation, A, is in favor of that, and B, I think actually is probably cut into Florida State's licensing revenue. I think they get a piece of that.
Everybody might get a piece of pie,
yeah. So they were more than happy. They want Florida State to be the Seminoles, and so it took Florida State out of the way. It took a Utah Utes, it's a specific tribe, out of the way, and kind of left them dealing with the people who had more generic names and smaller schools.
I wonder if there are any Illini Nation Native Americans left that signed off on Illinois to be.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But they did retire their mascot, but kept the name. At Illinois.
We're going off all different subjects. I would love to talk A-State football with you.
Let's do
it. One conference loss, tough, heartbreaking conference loss at home against the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky. Are we still in this thing?
Yes. This year especially, because I really feel that this is going to be a year unlike any other where there are so many good teams in the league, everybody's just going to beat up on one another. I thought going in that probably 6-2 would probably get you at a tie at the top of the league. I don't know with who, But
it could be with anybody at this point. There's
but I
three
just
or four
think,
different good ones.
You know, so I think you're still in it. And one thing too is you keep in mind is one thing the Sun Belt does or has done historically, and I guess we kind of have to wait and see whether this changes with the new commissioner, is the Sun Belt doesn't break ties at the top. If every team in the league finished with the same record, they'd send every team in the league a conference championship trophy.
Really? They
Yeah,
don't go
they
by
don't even
head
go
to
head. They
Oh,
just,
my.
It's just you're just
I did
the
not know
champs.
that.
So you know, because you're not used to that mindset, you think, well, you lost to Western, now we need Western to lose twice. Well, not really. You
No.
really just need Western to lose once to get back in it. So,
Well, my fear is that because Western Kentucky last year, 7-5 overall, did not go to a bowl.
Yeah.
My fear is that Arkansas State may face a similar situation this year. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, what you get into there, and what got Western, is when you're in that situation where you're bowl eligible, but you don't have one of your conference's tie-ins, and you're just kind of left there trying to get in that large spot. Honestly, the thing it comes down to more than anything else is how many butts are you going to put in the seats.
And fortunately, Arkansas State travels well.
And so, especially after our trip to Mobile last year, we're on people's radar.
They show y'all.
I mean,
we've showed them something.
You know, the people in Mobile ever since then have said, please win 6 games.
Sure.
You know, we'll have you back
We'll have
in a
you
heartbeat.
back. Yeah.
So, that's what got Western. You know, the fact that they just now they have drawn better this year. They've had a record crowd already. Now their stadium is smaller. They had a record crowd against Southern Miss, and it was 23 something. But that pretty much fills up their stadium. So, you know, the ability to travel and put butts in seats is what's going to get you, and that's what cost Western last year. Now Western since then, you know they've already. We beat them last year, you know, in a thriller in Bowling Green. Since that game, the only losses Western Kentucky has had since we beat them in Bowling Green was at number 1 LSU last year, at number 1 Alabama this year.
That's right. They are a tough program, and they're not the only one that's that tough in the Sun Belt. You've got Monroe, who famously beat Arkansas this year in overtime. And then the very next week, they took another SEC team to overtime in Auburn. And then the very next week, they darn near beat the Baylor Bears.
Yep.
There, and then you've got Middle Tennessee, who went to Georgia Tech and beat up on them.
Yeah, beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Oh, my gosh. The Sun Belt is stronger this year, I think, than it ever has been.
Oh, no, that's absolutely true. I mean, you know, right now, before Western won this week, it was the first time in the history of the league they had 2 teams at 4-1, had 3 more teams, or actually 4 more teams with 3 wins already, had a conference record in non-conference wins, had a conference record in wins over teams from AQ leagues, had I think a 6-2 record in the this year against Conference USA. So, you know, if you're still working under the mindset or the assumption that Sun Belt's the weakest conference in FBS, it's not right anymore. And it used to be right. When they started this league and it was full of teams that were just trying to make that transition or just trying to get footing at the FBS level, you know, you were accurate to say it was probably the weakest conference in the country. It's not anymore.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to build from some beginning point. The Sun Belt League is what now, about 15 years old?
Yeah, probably 12 or 13 maybe.
And tremendous strides in a very short period of time. I mean, they're definitely not the weakest team, the weakest league rather, in the FBS division.
It's fun to watch because it's fun to watch everybody get better together. You know, and selfishly, you wish we were getting better and everybody else was staying the same. But it is fun to look across the league and see everybody kind of getting better on that same clip.
And it makes Arkansas State better to play teams like that.
I mean, you know, Louisiana Lafayette, you know, is a team that's coming on at a fast clip, and that's where we'll go next week. You know, FIU, we're the team we had mentioned. They were only the team picked to win it. You know,
and we've already beaten them.
Yeah, so it's just I just think it's going to be a lot of beating up on one another. You know, Western, they have a leg up right now because not only are they 2-0, but they're 2-0 on the road. That means they're going to play 4 of their last 6.
All their home games to go
at home. So I know they love where they sit. You know, having already come not just 2 road wins, but they've come to Arkansas State and to Troy and won ball games so far. So they're loving their spot.
The team that frightens me the most is Louisiana Monroe, because they have been dog fighting with way bigger schools than they are, and even one. Of course, Arkansas is way down this year. Everybody knows that now, but they beat them at Arkansas. You can't take that away from them. And I hope that they don't catch us on a bad day.
Well,
we were joking that they should be looking in the mailbox for their SEC invitation, fighting 2 SEC schools in a row to overtime, and then Baylor the next week almost beating them. They're going places.
We got a while to worry about them. Obviously, today we'll go home tonight against South Alabama, but then we have a humongous game a week from Tuesday on ESPN2 down in Lafayette, a game that they've had circled since the ball game up here, because basically they came up here last year to play what amounted to a conference championship game in November, and we were able to knock them off, and they're ready for us to come down there. Like I said, I mean, you used to could look a month down the road and say, boy, look at that Monroe game sitting there, but you just can't anymore because
everybody's
you
good.
Could get beat up 2 or 3 times going into it.
Now, South Alabama, the brand new football team in the conference. In fact, is this their second year to actually play in conference?
It's their first year to actually play a Sun Belt schedule, and they're actually provisional. They couldn't win the conference even if they would have, which they weren't going to.
They're the doormat folks, but we're not looking ahead of them, are we?
No, because I'm going to tell you what. This is their 4th year to have a program, and they did it the right way. They started playing what amounts like a JV schedule for a couple of years. And first of all, let me tell you what they've got. They have an unbelievable built-in recruiting base. If you can just get the 2nd, 3rd pick of kids in and around Mobile, Alabama to stay home, you're getting studs. They have, except for the stadium they play in, which they'll remedy one of these days, they have unbelievable facilities. We used their football facilities as our practice home down at the GoDaddy.com Bowl, and it is top of the line.
No kidding.
So I mean, they've got something to sell there, and they've got a great recruiting base. If people are beating up on them now, which is not happening, they're losing games, but they're hanging in there. They won't for long. They'll get footing pretty quickly as they kind of take root here at this level. Again, this is just the 4th year they've had a program.
Yeah, see, it's very, very young football program. I had been familiar with their basketball program because Coach Pelfrey had been there. We had a standout from just down the road go play college basketball there for a little while, Brooks Taylor from BIC. So we had an eye on their basketball program already. But this football thing to them is brand new.
Yeah, but like I said, you tip your hat to them that they did it the right way. Sort of not unlike probably sort of the college version of what Brooklyn has done down the road. And
sure.
That you just started in phases and work your way to where they are now, playing senior high football. Well, South Alabama's done the same thing, kind of step by step, working to play a Sun Belt Conference schedule.
Now, we don't think they're going to come in here tonight at ASU at Liberty Bank Stadium and do any damage, but we're not looking past them.
You hope not. You just hope you take care of your business. But I mean, they've got. The thing about it is they've got college football players. They've got guys that I'm sure that they don't have a roster full of guys that only had one offer. So you have to go out there and do your thing. I've actually heard a lot of our players and coaches this week talking to those guys. Really kind of complimentary to South Alabama, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're the 2nd-rated defense in the conference right now, and you look at who they've played. I mean, they played Mississippi State, they played NC State, they played Troy, that has a high-powered offense, and so they've played some really good offenses, and they're the 2nd-ranked defense in the league. So it's enough to kind of give you cause for concern and make sure you come out and handle your business.
Well, that game tonight at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Of course, there'll be a ton of tailgating going on outside the stadium, as there always is, if the weather holds up, which so far,
yeah, it's going to be good.
Aside from some fog and our buddy Ryan Vaughn saying that the rain's going to come in after the game, everything looks so far so good.
Yeah, and we've been blessed with great weather for our 3 home games so far. Hopefully it'll continue one more time. Crowds have been great. Homecoming's always big. If you use if one thing internally we sort of use as a gauge for what a crowd will be like is what the demand is in our tailgate city, which we sell through group ticket purchases. It's huge. It's right up there. The group we have in Tailgate City today rivals what we had for the Memphis game. If the crowd ends up rivaling what we had for the Memphis game, it'll be another great atmosphere in the vault.
All right, I want to take a 2-minute break.
Okay.
Come back, have a little bit more time with you to talk about the upcoming ASU basketball season.
All right.
So we'll take 2 minutes and be right back here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
Welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com. There's the crowd here at Badden's Donuts and Bakery. Everybody wave for the camera. Nobody's waving for the camera. There we go. Some Paragould players over there waving for the Paragould Lady Rams, two-time defending 5A East basketball champions over there. Here at Batten's Donuts this morning. Boy, lots of different sports in this area, lots of different great teams in this area, and we got a great job, man. We got a great job talking about all of them, and I'm talking to Brad Bobo about the biggest one, Arkansas State University, right now here on yourprimetimesports.com. Before I talk to Brad, I'm going to do one thing. Okay. So, yeah, I fixed the problem. Okay, so we're back. And we had a little issue there, and I had to fix it. Yeah. Now, Arkansas State University basketball about to begin. We're less than a month away. And the Red Wolves returned a lot of folks to the basketball team this year, did they not?
Yeah, on the men's side.
On the men's side, yes.
They do. I think I think that when the preseason stuff comes out, I look for us to probably be picked second in the West behind North Texas. Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, between what they've got back, you got Brandon Peterson, Trey Finn, and Marcus Hooten, I think, are the seniors. And they had a couple of guys, a couple of transfers that were here last year but sitting out that are eligible, and they're going to make a big impact. And I know they have a freshman at point guard, a kid out of Memphis that they're excited about. And I look for them to be pretty exciting this season.
Now, this is Coach Brady's, about fifth season?
Yeah,
is that correct?
So, yeah.
Fifth season, we think. We're pretty sure. And if you were you've been there all this time. You've been at Arkansas State for what, 8 years?
Yeah, a little over 8 years.
Yeah, so if you were going to rank all of the all of his teams that he has had, Coach Brady has had since he's been here, do you think this might be the best one so far?
Right there, maybe one of the top couple. I mean, there was a year where we went into it, picked to win the division, or a couple of years ago, remember, we went undefeated at home for the entire season, and we're kind of had all the momentum going to Hot Springs, and the week of the tournament, Trey Finn tore a knee up and missed the tournament.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a really good team. A team that ran the table at home for the whole season. So it's hard with this team's only practiced one time, so I don't
really.
Yesterday was the first day of practice for the men.
They had not been practicing.
Well, you get like 2 hours a week. That most places kind of busted up in individual work. You can get your team together, but I mean you only get again a couple hours a week. yesterday was the first day men's teams could actually, honest to goodness, start practicing.
You're talking about by NCAA rule.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
So
what they used to be called, it used to be the big deal was Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness.
Because it started this date at 12:01. Not very many people still do that because they just start practicing when they can.
But I didn't think that it was this close to the season before. I thought that they had a couple more weeks than this. This is awfully close to the season.
It is.
Just now start running your offense.
Probably. They're probably inside 3 weeks from their exhibition opener because I know on the women's side they're 2 weeks away. The NCAA for a couple of years ago they busted up. They let the women start. They moved the women back and let them start a week 10 days sooner. So Coach Boyer's team has their 8 or 9 practices in. But yeah, the men's teams across the country really just got started yesterday.
Okay, so before we move on to the women, looking at the ASU schedule, what games stand out?
Home-wise, a big one that I think will get a lot of interest is I think it's December 19th, a Wednesday night. They have Murray State coming in, which is obviously a team that garnered a whole lot of national attention last year. They have St. Bonaventure coming in the non-conference portion of the schedule, which is a team that has made noise on the national stage in years past. And then the conference, the full conference schedule, which is always
we lost
tough.
Denver this year. Is that correct? Yes. They're gone from the conference now. Did we replace them with anybody yet?
No,
or
did not
there's
this
somebody
year.
on their way.
What you got is Denver is out this year. This is the last year for Florida International and North Texas.
Really?
In the league, they'll go to a revamped Conference
across the
USA.
board, all sports. Okay.
And then next year we will pick up Georgia State and Texas State.
Texas State ought to be a good team to pick up.
Yeah, they both will be. I mean, you look at, they're both. Those are two schools that are both going to come in with larger enrollments than we have, larger budgets than we have, and great recruiting bases. The Atlanta, Georgia State's right in Atlanta, and and Texas State in beautiful San Marcos. So. They'll come right in and start making a quick impact.
What I'd like to see is UALR get a football team. It's never going to happen ever, but I'd love to see it happen.
Yeah, that'd be.
It would be awesome.
Tough sledding, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no place for them. There's some places for them to put it, but this money-wise, I don't think they can put that together. Okay, non-conference road games for ASU. What's the biggest one on the schedule?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of go.
Well, I mean, stump you. I'm sorry.
There, yeah.
There's some good ones on there, though. I believe. If I can bring that up real quick. The good old Yahoo. I don't normally plug things, but I use Yahoo Sports like it's going out of style. And whenever I have a question about anything college sports related, I go to Yahoo. And I don't know if it's going to pull up with us broadcasting at the same time. There we go. The basketball season is there's a ton of great basketball on the way. Hasn't even started yet. It will be starting 3 weeks from right now. Okay, there's the Sun Belt.
Yep.
And there's Arkansas State. We're doing this live on the air. And here we go. Their non-conference schedule, I'm looking at it, and it looks like, Central Arkansas. Yep. That's at Central Arkansas. That's going to be huge. Ought to draw a big crowd down there in Conway.
They go to UT Martin, to UCA, kind of in the opening stretch of the season. The thing that's odd is just how early the conference season starts. We're going to play a conference game this year almost a full month earlier than we did last year.
December 27th be the first one.
It starts actually all the way up here.
Oh, I missed those Florida games
that's what
right
I'm saying,
there.
Right there, November 29th.
You're going to make a swing down there and catch them both at the same time.
You're going to make the Florida trip. Men and women both open the conference season down there. So
in November, starting conference play.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd.
Okay, well, let's talk about the women very quickly. They are going to be. They've lost a bunch from last year.
They've got four starters back, but then the rest of the team is pretty much loaded with newcomers and talented ones. I talk to those coaches every day, and not only are the young players that are talented right now, they've got young players that are talented that love to play. Even and right now, since all they can do is practice, they love to practice. I mean,
and they've got more that they've recruited that are still in high school that are on the way.
Yep, they've got the groundwork to a really good recruiting class. laid for this next year as well. So.
Well, their schedule, the Lady Red Wolves schedule, I was just sitting here bragging about Yahoo Sports, and we go to the
now
women's
that one,
team.
I can tell you more about that one.
There's no schedule on there. That's too bad.
Tell you about that one. Yeah, they'll go.
They got some major powers on their schedule.
We go to USC to return. USC came here and we beat them last year. We got to go back out to LA to return
out to
that
Los
trip.
Angeles.
We'll go to a good Toledo team, to a good UT Martin team. Both those postseason type teams. We're playing UCA. UCA's actually coming to the Convo this year. It's the first time. This is my 10th season calling those games, and it's the first time we've played UCA in that time. So they're coming to the Convo. SEMO is coming to the Convo to return a game we played up there last year. So good regional games to go along with a good Sunbelt schedule. Both teams have 17 home games, counting their exhibition games. So a lot of basketball at the Convo coming up this season.
Okay. One more thing I want to touch base with you before we get our next guest in. And you're a Greene County Tech alum.
I am.
Class of?
95.
You're old.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm actually older than you. I'm not going to say anything. 1995. You played football, right?
No, Lord,
you did
no.
not play football?
I couldn't play dead in a Western.
You were a big old boy when I first met you. You're not
then.
anymore. But
but I wasn't then either.
You wasn't then
either.
Look,
see, you cracked my wife up there.
Okay, I thought you played football. I really did.
No.
What did you play, if anything?
Nothing. I was in the band.
Really?
Absolutely.
I had no idea. This is new information. I've known Bobo for 10 years.
How I end up working in sports is absolutely beyond me. Well, because I am the most unathletic person I know.
Really?
Yes.
You play golf?
Yeah, but not even. I'm bad at that.
You play poker?
Yeah, I hadn't done that in forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising to me also. Okay, well, let's look at Greene County Tech. They're struggling this year. Have you been following along?
Yeah. Obviously, sometimes, depending on where we are, a lot of times it's just getting to see scores. But, yeah, I have followed it. And, had some dealings a little bit working with them, getting ready for the Jonesboro game. Did some things down there to help for the game at our place. So, get to visit with Jeff on occasion to kind of keep up with it. And,
they got their first conference win last night.
And a big one against a lot better Nettleton team. Much
Absolutely.
Improved. So that was a good win for them. And I heard you talking about, all of a sudden it's kind of ramped up their ball game this next week.
4 teams tied for 5th place with 1-3. And we made our football broadcast schedule before the season even started. We looked at matchups that might be something. And going into last night's games, the BB and Greene County Tech matchup wasn't looking like a great one.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it is.
Yep.
It's the 2 teams that still have a shot at the playoffs, and it's at BB, a road game for Greene County Tech, and BB is down this year. They only got their first win last night, and it was a 1-point win over Blytheville. So it's going to be a good game.
Well, you hope you run into years where Tech and Paragould are both in the playoffs before Week 10 rolls around, but if you can't get that, you can't ask for much more than maybe get to a Week 10 matchup where maybe the winner gets in or something like that.
The Paragould Tech matchup in Week 10 this year may be for the last playoff spot.
That's happened. I can remember one time, I think maybe back when I was in high school, maybe even my senior year where that was the scenario. The winner got in. So, that takes a big game and ramps it up about 10 more notches. And if we could get in that situation, it'd really be a fun week around here.
We want to have you back. This was awesome.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Brad
you.
Bobo from Arkansas State University. He is the master of anything that has to do with digital media or broadcast media for the athletic department of Arkansas State University. We're going to take about a 4-minute break, and when we come back, our next guest already here. He's the head girls basketball coach at Marmaduke High School, Rick Smith, when we come back on yourprimetimesports.com.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
You get big time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a BB.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
When you feel bad and it's after regular office hours, turn to CR Doc. Here's Dr. Roger Cagle.
At CR Doc, we offer more than a standard family medicine practice. We have extended office hours with on-site lab and x-ray, as well as casting and suturing capabilities, giving you an alternative to those crowded emergency rooms for all your minor injuries and accidents that need fast, complete medical attention. Appointments are available but not necessary.
CR Doc in the King Carroll Suites on West Kings Highway in Paragould in front of Walmart.
At CR Doc, we are patient people.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
Mr. T's Riverside Cafe in Cardinals, Missouri for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us after the game for a pizza or our delicious hickory smoked barbecue. Just a short drive across the Kahlua-colored waters of the St. Francis River at the Arkansas-Missouri state line in the scenic resort town of Cardinal, Missouri.
Mr. T's at Riverside.
Kavanaugh Kia's pre-owned superstore. Your one-stop car shop to find the vehicle you deserve. Every make and model is right here on our lot. Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Nissan, Lincoln, Cadillac, and more. With a huge selection of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. We also have a great variety of certified pre-owned Kias with America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. You'll never have to drive anywhere else than Kavanaugh Kia's pre-owned superstore. Visit us today on Stadium Boulevard, just south of the bypass, or online at KavanaughKia.com.
We opened our maximum free checking account online. It took less than 15 minutes.
With Focus Bank, you can easily open your maximum free checking or max savers account online. And with mobile banking, you'll always stay in control. Whether you're looking for a free checking account, interest-bearing account, or rewards checking account, Focus Bank has a solution for you.
Mobile banking with Focus Bank makes our life easier.
Visit focusbank.com and sign up for a new account with mobile banking today.
Welcome to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Hello, I'm Clifton Garmrath, and I have some very exciting news for you. This year, YourPrimetimeSports.com will be bringing you live video coverage of 5A youth football. Check out our scheduled broadcast on YourPrimetimeSports.com. Become a fan of our Facebook page and catch all the live action right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
There we go. Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Segment number 2, or guest number 2, rather, is with me right now. Rick Smith, he is the coach of the Lady Greyhounds of Marmaduke, and their season technically starts Friday. But did you guys play in the Jamboree?
No, our Jamboree we were in got canceled this year, and I think we're going to start doing a benefit game next year.
Okay, so your season is upon us. Starts Friday. Or Thursday.
We actually play Thursday.
Thursday night. Man, it just came right up on us, didn't it?
It did. We're at the Joe V. Jones. We play Armourell at 4:30. Now, our boys open up Tuesday night at home.
Joe V. Jones, and that's at Buffalo Island Central every year, over in Monette, just right up the street. And it's always a great big old opening of the season classic for all the area basketball-only schools that don't play football.
That's right, and I mean, they do a great job there at Buffalo Island Central. Their hospitality is always awesome.
Now, how are the Lady Greyhounds looking for you this year? What do you expect out of them this year? How many, you got a lot of people coming back?
Yes, we had 4 seniors last year. Anna Best, was our point guard, and we had Mercedes Jones, Bethany Long, Linda Hampton. But we had a pretty good junior high team. We ended up winning 30 games in junior high.
Wow.
So, and we've got 8 of those moving up. So
you don't even see many junior high teams play that many games.
Yeah, we're fortunate, not to have football and get to play that many games, and we just try to take advantage of it.
I don't think I've ever heard of a junior high team winning 30 games. You may have a record and not even know it.
No, actually, I think last year Brooklyn won 30. They had a really good team. They beat us when we played them. I think they maybe 32-2 or something. They had a really good basketball team too.
So how you got the same? Is it the conference the same this year, or are there some changes in your conference?
A couple changes. Got McCroy and Augusta coming in.
Oh wow, some road trips there.
Lost Maynard and Walnut Ridge. Maynard went to the single A, and Walnut Ridge went to the other 2A the other 2A conference.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you got to go all the way down to Woodruff County and let's see, McCrory. Both of those are in Woodruff County, aren't they?
I think they're about 10 or 15 miles apart.
That's going to be some long drives, and you haven't had in recent past any conference teams that were that far away from you. Unless I'm wrong.
It's been 2 or 3 years. They was when I was assistant, we were in 3A and had a couple of long road trips then. But for the last 3 years, this will be the furthest trips we've had.
So, who are you most? I don't want to put you on the spot. Who are you most leery of in that conference race?
Well, I mean, we've really got a tough conference, and I enjoy being in it because if you can get out of it, you got a chance. Mark Tree last year ended up 4th, but they didn't lose anyone. So they've got Perry's coming back. They got a good ball team there. BIC lost a couple. Of course, they went to the state. We lost a couple and went. And the EPC's always really good. Last year they ended up 3rd in our conference and 2nd in the state.
Yeah.
So, they did a great job there at the end.
They turn it on at the end when it matters most.
That's correct. And, of course, Coach Wellen does a great job with them. And he did lose a couple pieces, but they'll still be pretty good. I mean, they'll have a good ball team. Rector last year didn't even go to the region. Coach Dean up there does a great job. Didn't lose a game except for our conference last year.
Wow.
He didn't lose a ball game outside our conference. I think they won 23, 24 games.
And then didn't make it out of the regional.
No. And then, we hadn't even mentioned Riverside. They've got a good team. They've looked good in the jamborees. And then Augusta's supposed to be pretty good. It's coming in. McCroy. I talked to their coach. Then he said their senior high was pretty good. And then we got Cross County, which, they're getting better down there every day. So we got a really tough race. We hope we're in the mix of it when it's over.
Who are your seniors?
We have 5 this year. We've got Rachel Van Gilder. She's played in the post for us, done a really good job, really solid. Alexis Jones, she'll play some 2 guard and some 1. She'll be helping replace Anna Bess at the point. Whitley Boggs, which was All-State when she was a sophomore, I think she's going to have a really, really good senior season. Jessica Boggs, she does a great job for us. She's the one that made the half-court shot when we was playing EPC a couple years ago in the region.
So the Boggs girls, they're twins, is that correct?
No, they're not.
They're both seniors.
Yes, they're both seniors.
Wow.
And,
they must be really close together in birthdays to where they would both fall in the same school year.
Yeah, they're not actually sisters.
They're not. Okay. Well, see, that's
sets
where I made my mistake right there. I assumed
we've got a bunch of sisters, and we'll get to it. We've got a couple sets on senior high, and we've got junior high set.
So the Boggs girls are what, cousins?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then we've got hadn't mentioned Jessica Lee. She's played the post for us the last couple of years. Probably gonna move her to guard some. She's looking forward to that. She's been an undersized post, but does a great job for us. And then we got some. You mentioned the juniors. You may go over them too.
Well, I was going to ask you. You said you have 5 seniors.
Yes.
Are those your starters, or do you have some juniors that are going to start for you?
They may some. I'm sure they'll start some. They've started in the past some. But we try to get a top 8 or 9, and depending on who's working hardest in practice, that's who starts a certain given night. Sometimes I tell the kids, it's not really who starts as much. Sometimes it's who finishes. But with all 5 seniors will be in the mix. We've got a couple juniors, 3 juniors will be in the mix. And then we've got some good sophomores. Like I said, they won a lot of games last year. So we'll have some depth, hopefully, this year more than we've had.
Now, everything okay going on up there in Marmaduke? I know y'all have been in the news recently over some shakeups in the basketball program, but it's way down the line in Pee Wee that the news has been. So I don't know if that affects your program or not. Everything running smoothly up there, I hope.
Nah, everything's going great. Kids are working, getting better. Just trying to get better every day so that we'll be able to compete in our conference.
Okay, let's talk about that Joe V. Jones. Now, are you scheduled off? Is it 3 nights that they have the Joe V. Jones?
It is, and
is it guaranteed 3 games?
No, we actually only play once over there. Some of the teams play twice. We couldn't play twice this year because we already had a full schedule.
Okay, and that's Thursday.
It is Thursday. We kick it off at 4:30.
Who do you got in the coming weeks of the early part of the basketball season?
And then after that, I think the 29th of October we have Wynne, which man, they had a great season last year. Went to the state tournament. Got a couple great players coming back. Coach does a great job over there. Then we play Corning, which is
that's kind of a rivalry for you guys.
It's always a big rival. We hadn't beat them up to about 2 years ago. For about 3 years, they had a really good team. And then, we've had some really close games last year, but we won a couple of those. We actually played them last year in the finals of the Williams Baptist tournament, so it'll be a big game for us. And then I believe after that, we've actually got BIC, a conference game that early because
wow.
Well, what it is we go to the Paragould Classic. Both of us does, and we were scheduled to play that Thursday. But as you know, that Paragould Classic's 3 days: Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And that's a guaranteed 3-game deal.
Yes, and we go and BIC goes. So. And we were fortunate enough last year to play in the 3-4 game. We played BIC. We ended up getting third, and they got fourth.
Was that the best that Marmaduke has done since they've started that classic?
I would say the year before, we only went and played 1 game. It was a fill-in for a team that couldn't be there.
I see.
So really last year is the first time we've been in it as a tournament. We just filled in for 1 game year before last.
Okay, so now this year you're in it again.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you guys get to go to that. That's a big deal.
It's really good for us because there's a bunch of 5 and 6A schools. Last year we got to play Little Rock Christian, which we beat them.
You beat them,
5A,
yeah.
and
I remember
really
that.
Good. And then of course we got beat by Paragould, which they had such a good team. They were
such a powerhouse last year, and they're going to be that way again this year. They only lost 1 senior starter. They've got 4 starters from a state runner-up team coming back. They're going to be a powerhouse.
Coach Cook does a great job. Plus, they do have a bunch of good kids and got a lot of talent. But they were just so much stronger and more physical than us. It really exposed us. But, we're looking forward to maybe getting an opportunity to play them again this year.
Now, this is something that I've lived here 10 years now, and this has just bothered me constantly. Where I'm from, the senior high teams, boys and girls, they play on the same night, okay? We're sitting here trying to put together a basketball broadcast schedule, and we are only able to broadcast on Tuesday nights and Friday nights. You guys don't even play on any of those nights because you play on Monday nights and Thursday nights because you've got your senior boys and your senior girls split apart on the nights that you play. Can we change that? Can we do something about that, man?
Well, we've changed it a little bit because a couple of teams that's coming in this year, we play 4-game nights with them. We actually have a game this year against Riverside, 4-game night.
Really?
And I believe it may be the Tuesday right before Christmas break. So that'd be one you could schedule.
Well, we've already put our schedule together,
okay.
And it may be that is on there. I'll have to go back and look at that.
Of course, we're in the Williams Baptist. Sometimes we play on Tuesday or the NEA, but typically we play Monday, Thursday. Boys play Tuesday, Friday.
Well, and that's been the way it's been for the 2A and 3A schools in Northeast Arkansas the entire time I've been here, and from what my wife says, for years before that, the girls and the boys play on different nights.
There's pros and cons to everything, but I kind of like it. We get a 7th grade game that way, a junior B game, get some other kids playing time, and then our boys can just be all out for the girls.
But doesn't that double up on your gas money that you have to spend?
Yeah, it does that. I mean, like I said, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
That would obviously be a con of that. So.
Yeah, where I'm from, they'll play a junior high game, whether it be girls or boys. It's 3-game nights, and that the junior high teams, they go around the conference schedule one time, and the senior highs do home and aways twice, and they play on the same night, Tuesdays and Fridays. And so when I came up here 10 years ago, it was completely foreign to me that they were doing that. And I'm sitting here trying to make a schedule, and it's hard to get your girls on the air this year. I would love to do it. I hope there's an opportunity for us to do it, but so far it's been tough.
Yeah, we understand. Like I said, there's pros and cons. We kind of like it because the junior high kids get twice as much playing time. Like I said, the fuel expense is up, and but like I said, there's pros and cons. We think it's what's best for us right now for the kids, and that's what we're in it for. We're trying to help the kids more than anything.
Do you coach anything besides basketball?
Actually, the assistant track coach, Coach Robinson's the head coach, and of course we had the 4-man relay at One State last year.
Have you guys, I know track's in the spring, and I know you're pretty much basketball frame of mind right now. Have you done any prep work at all for the upcoming track season in the spring?
Just our basketball conditioning.
There you go.
Hey.
You don't have anything to do with softball?
No, sir.
No softball. You're the head girls basketball coach and assistant girls track coach.
Yes, sir.
And bus driver?
No, sir.
You don't drive a bus?
I don't drive a bus.
Man, that's where the money's at right there.
Well, we've got. I'm just not into money. I don't know what to tell you.
You're allergic to money, aren't you?
I guess.
We appreciate you coming in, and we're going to have you come back several points because basketball season is the longest athletic season of the school year. It's almost 5 months long, especially for you guys. And so we're going to want to have you come back at various points during the season to let us know how your girls are doing and the progress of your conference race and so on and so forth. And, of course, we're going to have Coach Richie in here with us next week. I want you to remind him, by the way, because I know how Steve is. He'll totally forget.
Hey, I'll be glad to tell him.
Okay.
I talked to him this morning, actually. They got the 5K run up there this morning at our school, and he was there doing that. So he said he'd be here if not for that.
Yeah, and we're going to have him next Saturday on the show. He's been there for as long as I've been up here, for longer. He graduated from Marmaduke. He is a Marmaduke boy through and through, and I don't know if he's ever coached anywhere else. Did he?
He has. He had a couple of, I know think he might have been a EPC and maybe one.
See, that's something I didn't know. But he spent almost the bulk of his entire career at Marmaduke because that's his home and that's where he wanted to be, and he's not going anywhere.
No, he just had some great teams. He does a great job with our boys program.
Yeah, he's and I love him to death. Of course, if you go to a hospitality room at a tournament, you better get in there before Coach Richie. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think he did tell me this morning, make sure they saved him some biscuits down here at Baton so
See?
he can come down here after the run.
Thanks for coming in.
Hey, enjoyed it.
Coach Rick Smith from the Lady Greyhounds of Marmaduke. And when we come back, and we think Clifton's going to be in here any minute. There he is right there. We're going to take a 4-minute break so we can get Clifton situated, and he's going to interview our next guest, Coach Larry Treadway, the head football coach at Walnut Ridge, when we come back on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
You get big time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
When you feel bad and it's after regular office hours, turn to CR Doc. Here's Dr. Roger Cagle.
At CR Doc, we offer more than the standard family medicine practice. We have extended office hours with on-site lab and x-ray, as well as casting and suturing capabilities, giving you an alternative to those crowded emergency rooms for all your minor injuries and accidents that need fast, complete medical attention. Appointments are available but not necessary.
CR Doc in the King Carroll Suites on West Kings Highway in Paragould in front of Walmart.
At CR Doc, we are patient people.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
Mr. T's Riverside Cafe in Cardinals, Missouri for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us after the game for a pizza or our delicious hickory smoked barbecue. Just a short drive across the Kahlua-colored waters of the St. Francis River at the Arkansas-Missouri state line in the scenic resort town of Cardinal, Missouri.
Mr. T's at Riverside.
Kavanaugh Kia's pre-owned superstore. Your one-stop car shop to find the vehicle you deserve. Every make and model is right here on our lot. Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Nissan, Lincoln, Cadillac, and more. With a huge selection of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. We also have a great variety of certified pre-owned Kias with America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. You'll never have to drive anywhere else than Kavanaugh Kia's pre-owned superstore. Visit us today on Stadium Boulevard, just south of the bypass, or online at KavanaughKia.com.
We opened our maximum free checking account online. It took less than 15 minutes.
With Focus Bank, you can easily open your maximum free checking or max savers account online. And with mobile banking, you'll always stay in control. Whether you're looking for a free checking account, an interest-bearing account, or a rewards checking account, Focus Bank has a solution for you.
Mobile banking with Focus Bank makes our life easier.
Visit focusbank.com and sign up for a new account with mobile banking today.
Welcome to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Hello, I'm Clifton Garmrath, and I have some very exciting news for you. This year, YourPrimetimeSports.com will be bringing you live video coverage of 5A youth football. Check out our scheduled broadcast on YourPrimetimeSports.com. Become a fan of our Facebook page and catch all the live action right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. The chair has been taken by Clifton. He is back, and he is talking to the head coach of the Walnut Ridge Bobcat football team, Larry Treadway.
Well, I'm glad to be back, Dave. I had to run across town, and I had to do a little photography work and then run back, so I'm out of breath. But, yeah, I have a good longtime friend and my junior high football coach, Coach Larry Treadway. He is the head football coach, and are you still the AD?
It's still the AD.
And the athletic director at Walnut Ridge High School for the Bobcats. Good to have you, Coach. I'm tickled to death. I couldn't wait for this interview this morning.
Well, I've looked forward to it. You know, we've been around each other so long. You know, it's easy to sit down here with you, and of course, I'm sure there's things we'll talk about in football and so forth. But we do go back, way back, and you know that.
Oh yeah, and fun times and. It's hard to believe that I'm not going to tell anybody your age, but I'll be 53 this month, so it's way back there. So
yeah, I don't want to remember. I think you were an 8th grade football player.
8th and 9th grade.
Yeah, both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8th and 9th grade. So had some fun times back then at Paragould. But anyway, let's talk about your Bobcats. How many years have you been at Walnut Ridge? I know you came from Batesville.
I did. We're on the 8th year.
8th year at Walnut Ridge, and you've had some successful seasons over there. You've done some good things with that program, and you're having a very good year this year.
We are. We've been in the playoffs 6 of the last 8 years, and we've had championship team 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, these seniors were sophomores. We won the district and went to the playoffs. But this year, they're seniors. They're well seasoned, and they're ready to go. We're 5-1 at the time. Gave up a 2-point loss to EPC. Could have gone either way. So we're pretty pleased where we're at.
So you're right in the hunt right now.
We're in the hunt.
And so now EPC a conference foe, is that right?
Correct.
And so that's the only conference loss.
Yes, and they're winning the conference right now.
And who did you have last night?
We played Mark Tree at our place for homecoming.
And what was that?
We won 55-19.
Wow.
Coach Dunn's got a young group, and he's beat up at Mark Tree, and he does a good job. We were just better. We had a lot of good football players on our team, and as I said, he's got a good group over there. He'll get them turned around, but it was a tough night for him.
Now, let me tell you why I'm asking all these questions that I'm not going to lie to anyone that's watching. I don't have all the updates on Walnut Ridge because we really concentrate and stay focused on the 5A East, which is the big, you got Paragould and you got Tech right here in Paragould, and then you have the other 6 schools. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand out into the other communities, and that's why we wanted you on here. And hopefully, you've seen this magazine a minute ago. We gave one to Diane to take home with you. It's got the 8 schools in the 5A East, and hopefully down the road in the near future we can add these other schools and bring these other schools to be a part of that. So we wanted to have you on to talk about your football program and to just tell the viewers, where you're heading this year, what your junior high's like, how are you building those programs year in and year out, because you said 6 out of 8 years you've been to the playoffs. That's pretty successful stuff.
We've come a long ways. I think David remembers when when I was hired over there, we were down for a little while. We got in the playoffs at a time that we were winning 3 conference games to get in. Of course, you drew the Woodlines, which were real good in those days, and you drew Earl, and we just struggled to get anywhere in the playoffs. And so anyway, we're excited where we're at right now. As I said, got a good senior group, got about 32 kids on the senior high football team, 25 in junior high. The junior high's playing about 500 right now. A lot of young 8th graders are playing. 7th grade's only lost 1 ball game. So we're building this thing. Pee Wee program's going well, and we're stair-stepping this thing, and it looks like at this point it's working out.
And there's our buddy that works at the banks. He's still involved in the Pee Wee program?
He's no longer involved. He keeps the chains on the sideline for me. Bill Wilcox, we're talking about, Vice President at Regions, and he's the enthusiast of the world. Of course, his boy Eric plays for me, and just a phenomenal football player, and the whole family, just great people.
They love football. And they love Walnut Ridge football.
Oh, he and Pam they bleed it.
Now, his son, what grade is he in now?
He's a senior.
He's a senior. Now, you're a real good quarterback from about 2 years ago when I moved back from Springdale. Is he a senior this year?
Now, the quarterback you're talking about is probably Peyton Poole, who went down with the injury in the EPC game last year. Probably the worst knee injury I've seen since Joe Theismann on television. Wow. He's had 6 operations, and he's just tenacious about being back out there. He struggles with the injury, but he's playing for us. But our quarterback is Zach Chrysler. Matter of fact, he threw 5 touchdowns last night in the ball game. Zach did. Peyton had a dislocated shoulder along with this knee injury, so he's part of our team, and he's something to watch. And I mean, it's amazing that he's even out there, and we're real proud of him. But he hadn't played much quarterback.
So he's just had a hard recovery football career.
Dr. Swams took care of him, and he even said himself he's never seen anything like this. ACL, MCL. What the big problem is his nerve damage has not allowed his foot to function like he needs it to. So, but we're playing him at split end. He's catching football a little bit, and he holds for us on extra points, and he's very much involved in the game.
Well, obviously, if you have him receiving and holding the football on extra points, he's got good hands.
He's got great hands.
So, but I remember those names because there was a time that I used to come over and do the Pee Wee football pictures, and I remember these young. I mean, I guess these kids were 5th graders then, 6th graders, whatever. But when you mention these names, I remember those guys when they were just real little. But talk to us about what are the strengths of the Bobcats? Is it your offense? Is it explosive, or is it and what type of offense are you running?
Well, we're in a spread with mixed direction, but now the Chrysler kid at quarterback is I tell people he's really magical. I mean I tell people used to say all the time looks like Jane, plays like Tarzan, and of course he can be the other way too. This kid's so deceptive. I mean he doesn't look like he can do the things he does, but he makes plays all over the field. Of course, offensively Joe Fisher calls our offense, and Joe's been averaging this year we're averaging over 40 points a night. He's putting a lot of points up. Jacob Curtis is our defensive coordinator. and we get better on defense each week we go out. Right now we spend a lot of time with our defensive ends. We feel like, a lot of people try to get outside on us because a lot of times we won't have that kind of speed. But we've done real well with that. But now we're moving the ball well. Probably the biggest asset is that we can score. We score a lot of points.
How much enthusiasm does Coach Kersey bring to the club?
Well, a lot of people don't know. This year, Jacob became our principal. He may be the only principal in the state of Arkansas that's the defensive coordinator in football.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so we tell him all the time. We said, listen, I know you're in charge of us during the day, but when you come over here, buddy, you got to take some. You're going to catch some crap. But anyway, he does a great job for us. And I got Steve Atkinson, who you don't know, came in from Missouri. Been helping us for the last 3 years, and I mean he's the mule. He takes care of everything. He's a great coach.
Now what happens when Jacob's out on the sideline and he's calling defensive plays and a fight breaks out in the stands and the principal's nowhere?
Yeah, I told him he's got to go up and break it up. Hey, he does come to practice sometime, and he'll say, Coach, I'm sorry. He said I got a problem with the buses or something.
Yeah.
But it's worked out real good. And of course Jacob's young. He bounces around a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
And this has been a wonderful thing for him too. I've really got a good staff.
And you do, and he. I remember when he came over. I was still doing some photography work over there, and I remember when he first came over. He was so excited, and he had so much energy. And he is a young man, and so I know he carries that enthusiasm and that energy with him every day. Now, do you still have some of the same coaches that you had when I?
Coach Ward is still there.
Coach Ward
is our girls basketball coach. Does a great job right there. Coach Atkinson, of course, helps him in basketball. We got Jana Berry in volleyball. Jana won 18 games this year in senior high, probably 16 in junior high. She's got her volleyball program doing extremely well. We've got.
Can you help us get her over here one day?
Well, I tell you, I'm not going to give her up. She's.
No, I don't. I mean over here on the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant come and coach.
No,
I wasn't giving her up.
No. I would never ask you to do that.
Yes, Jana would love to come over and talk. She does. She does a great job with our program, and of course in boys basketball. Coach Duncan helps us in boys basketball as an assistant coach, and then Coach Darryl Chrysler is our new basketball coach from a year ago.
Yeah.
And, of course, in football, this is his kid that's quarterbacking right now. And, as I said, he's a phenomenal player. But anyway, Chrysler has our basketball. They were very competitive last year. He's fixed to put a good product on the court again this year. And not only that, he's on the sidelines with us in football. I mean, it's a great situation.
So he's hands-on.
You betcha. He comes out and helps us in football, and I guarantee you we're going to do everything we can to help him in basketball.
Well, we would love to, hopefully, maybe, and I know it's hindsight right now, but we would love to maybe possibly do a game of y'all's next year. And I know, do we have a Walnut Ridge basketball game scheduled?
We have a Walnut Ridge basketball. It is early in the season. They will be hosting Sloan Hendricks.
Okay.
Boys and girls, and we have that game on your prime.
So we'll have that live on TV.
That's
on
right.
Internet TV. Those two games.
Yes, sir.
That's good. We want to bring some promotion to you, and that's what we're all about. So whenever Sloan Hendricks, you can look on the schedule, is coming to Walnut Ridge. You can let everybody know at Walnut Ridge to let their family that live outside of Walnut Ridge that may not can make it to the game tap into yourprimetimesports.com, and they can watch the game live. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to spread the love. We're trying to spread out and let people have an opportunity to see these other teams play. And so we have a little bit better opportunity of doing several different teams in football. Our basketball, we have 32 games scheduled just in high school basketball, whereas we only have 11 in football. So we have a lot more opportunity in basketball. But anyway, tell us a little bit more about some of the sports that's going on. The baseball was always good over at Walnut Ridge.
Derek Bramlett's been there
forever.
Forever. Of course, Derek's not very old. I know that sounds bad. He's not very old. He's a young coach. He's had great success in baseball. We always go down. We play in the state, and it just seems like we always get a draw that goes on to win the state. We haven't won it. We were runner-up years ago. I think maybe 99 back in those days.
That's when Belcher and them were on there, wasn't it?
It's during that group. I'm not for sure.
Bramlett still play poker?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I think I'm going to tell you what. He's got a beautiful little daughter that pretty well holds him at the house, and he's at work coaching baseball and taking care of that girl.
I used to get in some poker games with him, or I used to watch him play and sometimes try and get in over at the Walnut Ridge Country Club. He'd come in on Saturday afternoons to play poker with those guys. I love Derek Bramlett.
Oh,
He's an awesome guy.
Derek's he's a good guy and a good friend. A good coach.
I tell you another thing he does. He does something at the scores table at Williams Baptist College during basketball.
He volunteers and helps them out there as the scorer. That's correct. You know, he does that for us a little bit too. But he's out there quite a bit, guys. If there's any baseball going on, Derek's name's going to be associated with it because he's had that kind of success at Walnut Ridge.
And maybe we can get him over here come baseball softball season. So, but anyway, now you said your junior high was batting 500.
Yeah, they're young, about half eighth graders.
Who's the head coach? Are you still?
I do it all.
You do it all.
But now these guys, Joe calls the offense. Joe Fisher does
right.
in junior high. We just kind of stair step. He does it in 7th grade, and he does all the offense. Jacob does the defense. I tell folks that people say I just drive the bus, but the truth is I don't even drive the bus. So.
Now I'm gonna say this, so don't knock me off my stool, okay? You look good, and I bragged on you this week. I said, someone said, he was your junior high football coach? And I said, yeah. And I said, I want to tell you something. He ain't aged a bit. So I'm bragging on you, but you're no spring chicken.
No.
How do you do? Are you still running every day and keeping in shape?
I work out in the weight room 2 or 3 days a week. We have an elliptical there. You haven't seen our new facility, I don't believe.
I'm going to come and see it.
We've got a beautiful, guys, nice baseball, football, PE, you name it. I mean, we have PE classes in there every day. But it's got turf, and of course we built new science labs and chemistry and choir and band. And you'll have to see this. We have actually 2 hitting nets. We have a softball hitting net and a baseball hitting net.
Yeah.
It is extremely nice, but you need to come and see that.
I'll do that. I have to do that on a Friday. And I am extremely busy Monday through Thursday. I'm in Marion and West Memphis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I will make it a point to come over there on a Friday and see that facility. So when did y'all do all these changes at the school?
Well, it was open. We opened up this at the very end of last year. And I told someone, we've got nice dressing rooms. We really have a great facility for people to come and see. Of course, we still have our track around the football field. Mm-hmm. It's okay. We do run track. I don't know if I told you that earlier. I'm also the track coach and the cross-country coach. Our track team has won back-to-back district championships in junior high boys and senior high boys. Girls have been runner-up this last year, and they won it the first year. So we brought track back 2 years ago. Had 70 or 80 kids come out for it in grades 7 through 12. And as I tell people, these were kids that probably were never going to hit a softball and a baseball. So
right.
we provided another opportunity. And I just want to add, we've got a lot of things going on there. We've got a cheerleading crew right now, 18 girls. We've got a dance team with 12, 13 girls. There's a lot of activities going on at Walnut Ridge.
There is a lot of activities. Y'all have really stepped it up. Now, let me ask you this, because I know your wife, Diane, and she's a big-time runner, and she coaches track.
Cross country.
Cross country.
Yes.
Is she still at Batesville?
She's still at Batesville. She has won of the last 8 years. If you'll check her hand, she can't get all her rings on. She has won 7 state championships out
amazing?
Of the last 8 years. And the 1 year she didn't win it, she was runner-up.
That is amazing.
Phenomenal. I don't even know. I know in football, you go back to the Barton football teams to see 7 or 8 state championships.
Now, how many rings do you have?
I don't have but 1 district championship ring. I know.
I didn't mean to her. I didn't mean to.
And she won't even let me wear hers.
Oh, so, is that not pitiful?
No.
Oh, man. Well, she is an excellent cross-country coach, and that's evident by all those rings. But what would it take to get her to Walnut Ridge one day?
Well, she's been in Batesville. Of course, we have a house there, and I keep an apartment in Walnut Ridge. Our daughter just graduated from ASU. She's, matter of fact, she
Beautiful
is.
Chelsea.
She's Miss ASU.
Is she Miss ASU?
Yes, she won that beauty contest and went on to the Miss Arkansas. We had a good time there. That was pretty neat. But anyway, she just graduated, and my son, of course, is a chiropractor in Little Rock at this time.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he came down for the football game last time.
I'll never forget when I had my little sports car, you called me up, and she was on the homecoming court there at Walnut Ridge her senior year, and she she drove or rode around. You and her rode around the back of that little
convertible.
BMW Z3 Roadster.
Yeah, and she wanted to buy it.
Yeah, oh, she did. Well, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't want to tell you. Yeah, she wanted to buy it.
Yeah, I don't have that little car anymore. I took that up to Springdale with me when I moved, and everybody in Northwest Arkansas drives Lexuses and BMWs and all high-dollar cars, so I could get more money for it up there than I could here.
You bet.
So, but anyway, well, we got about, 10 minutes?
That's actually correct,
About 10 minutes?
Yeah,
let's take,
about 10 more
let's
minutes.
take
You want to take a break?
Let's take a 2-minute commercial break, and we'll come back and wrap it up with Coach Treadway.
All right, we will be back with more. They're seeing me on camera. Hello, folks.
Oh, you love being on camera.
Well, I have to do this way. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes right here on yourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
All right, we're back on yourPrimetimeSports.com. More with Coach Treadway from Walnut Ridge. Take it away, Clifton.
Yeah, I was just fixing. All right, we're back, and you had my volume turned off. I see how you operate.
It's TV business, man. It's TV business.
Okay, very good. Anyway, we want to get right back into football, but I want to step up to ASU for a moment. We were talking about Chelsea a minute ago, and she's Miss ASU. Now, are you going to the football game this evening?
Yeah, we plan on going on. She's working today, but I think she'll be at the game.
Well, I hope they win. They're playing South Alabama. Is that right?
Johnny Thompson is the defense coordinator over there, and Johnny and I go back to our Arkadelphia days back in 80 and 81. And I just thought it's the neatest thing who Gus has brought in there. I mean, he's got some extremely good coaches. I mean, there's time for people to be excited about this.
Yeah, they are. And I believe that Jonesboro and the Paragould area are excited about it. And I see good things happening with the Malzahn. ASU even jumped on board and put a full-page ad in this thing. And when something like that happens with that type of college, I felt real good about this.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, it's the Malzahn ad with their football schedule, and Game On ad, and they're going to have one in the basketball. We'll have a basketball issue coming out in November. So, let's touch on Walnut Ridge football just briefly and wrap this up. And I hope you come back and see us and visit with us.
Well, this is pretty neat, pretty nice, and it's good for everybody to hear. I hope everybody knows that we have a good product at Walnut Ridge. We've got a good school. Got a lot of activities going on. With football going on right now, being 5-1, we've got a big game at Salem coming up Friday night. They're undefeated.
Yes, they are.
If we've got, as I said, we've got the Wilcoxon kid running the football. We've got Hicks running the football. As I said, Chrysler at quarterback. We've got a Flippo kid at receiver. I mean, I got an offensive line that's almost veterans. I've got Hunter Ingram at center, been there for 3 years. On defense, Rowdy Ditto. I mean, I've really got a lot of kids that are playing good football right now.
What is your? We didn't touch too much on defense. What is your defense? How many points are they allowing per game, and what are some of the highlights on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, you know, we gave up 19 last night, but it wasn't our number one defense. We were up 47-6 at halftime. And we started the mercy rule.
Right.
So it's kind of misleading as to how much we give up defensively, because obviously some of those points are given up when your first team's not out there. We probably defensively, Rowdy Ditto leads our defense. We've got, of course, Chrysler kids in the secondary along with Hunter Flippo, and then we've got a lot of kids that don't play both ways. We've got a lot of kids just play defense. Probably Darren Tribble at corner, and, of course, Shelby Wake at corner. And then we turn around. The Wilcoxon kid plays linebacker, too. We probably have right now our best 11 kids since I've been there on the field playing pretty good football.
Well, and you know, that's pretty good to be able to say that, you know, you have a small roster, being a small school. What was the total you said a minute ago?
About 31.
About
now.
31, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a tad over 30, and you got some good group of kids that are not. They don't have to go both ways. You got some out there that can play one way. Gives them a lot of life throughout 4 quarters. Gives them a lot of energy.
Well, you know, think about it. Our kids, I tell people all the time, in AA football, you're always one ankle turn away from being a starter, regardless of where you're on the field, if you're a backup or not. But what's happening is our kids, we've got quality reps, and I mean that to mean that they don't go in just for the cleanup crew. These kids get to play in the heat of the battle.
Right.
So I probably got 18 kids playing quite a bit, or maybe 19 out of that 31 kids, and that's going to be a plus for us down the line if we have injuries.
Well, and I know you well enough, and I've been over there before, that in the off season you have an excellent off season program. I've seen them in there lifting and working and running and doing all the things, and this was 4 or 5 years ago, but I know you continue that on year after year, and you've built a tradition, and that tradition is carrying over year after year, because you know what? Winning is like a disease, boy, when it starts happening, but it can go the other way too.
Oh, you bet.
I've seen it right across the street for years, and you know, I really thought that they were going to improve this year, especially when they played Beebe that first game, and they beat Beebe first conference game. They had won 2 games in a row. They beat Kennett, then they beat Beebe, and I don't remember a time that Paragould won the first conference game of the season and won back-to-back football games. So they've struggled with that.
They have.
But hopefully those things are going to turn around for them. But, yeah, it can go either way. But for 8 years, you've built this tradition, and it's a snowball effect, and these kids want to win. They're hungry for it every year, aren't they?
Oh, this group, when they were in the 9th grade, they were undefeated, district champions. As I tell people, when they were in the 8th grade, they did what you asked them to do. They just got run over. I mean, they were, you remember the 8th grade days. And then the 10th grade, they win the district as 10th graders. And then in 11th grade, we have 9 of our 11 starters go down the first 2 weeks with injuries, including the Poole kid at quarterback. And we just barely recover, get back 5-5, and go to the playoffs. But they're all back now, so we're really excited about this group.
Now, when something like that right there happens, what do you go home at the end of the day and tell yourself?
Oh boy, you start running the numbers. You start saying, okay, I need to move this kid to that position. They've got to get quality reps this week. Try to get him ready. You just got to know that you're going to have to play. Friday night's coming. You know.
And no matter what, you got to line up.
You got to line up. And I promise you, there were some lean years there where I was just, I had a kid come tell me the other day. He said, Coach, I told him, he came by to see me, and he said, he graduated from college. He said, man, you've got it going. He said, I said, well, Tyler, you had a whole lot to do with this. He said, Coach, we only won 3 football games. I said, I know, but you never quit. You never gave up. You hung in there, and as a result, we kept this football team going. So all those people it goes back to, even if they weren't big-time winners, they had a lot to do with this.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'll wrap it up on this. Our time's up. But I will say this. If you have been coached, or been, whether he was an assistant coach or a track coach, cross-country coach, football coach, basketball, doesn't matter. If you have been coached by Larry Treadway, your life, mine has had an impact on that. You gave me good guidance. You've gave a lot of young men good guidance. You've showed them what it's like to be a team player, be a leader, work hard at whatever you do. It doesn't matter what you do. Just work hard every day, and good things will follow. And, you know, I just remember all of my coaches and all of the things that that you guys taught me. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to wrap it up, Dave. We're going to wrap it up here with Coach Treadway, the head football coach and AD at Walnut Ridge Bobcats. And who's our next guest?
Our next guest is the head women's basketball coach of the Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers, Coach Ty Clothier, and he will be with us when we come back on your PrimetimeSports.com.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
Welcome back to yourPrimetimeSports.com. Our final guest of today's Double G Sports Talk Saturday show is the head women's coach at Crowley's Ridge College, the Lady Pioneers, and this is their second year of existence, having a girls team, having a women's team at CRC. This is Coach Ty Clothier. Thanks for joining us for the first time ever.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Your Primetime
I appreciate
Sports.
you having me.
So you guys are building a women's program. Now, once upon a time, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, many, many years ago, there was a women's program, basketball.
There was. That's true.
And for whatever reason, somewhere along the way, they pulled the plug on that, and it had been gone for a long period of time.
For a long time, yes.
Now it's back,
Now it's back.
This is your second year, and you've been the head coach from the ground up.
Ground up, they brought me up here. I moved up here from West Memphis, coaching at West Memphis Christian last 10 years. And Coach McFadden, the athletic director, gave me a holler and came up here, interviewed. My family, we love the area. Thought this would be a great opportunity to start up a program, start getting feet wet in the college ranks, and we've loved it up here.
In your coaching career, and I'm going to have to admit I know absolutely nothing about your coaching career, have you ever before now had the opportunity to build a program from the ground up?
I haven't. This is the first time. Like I said, when I graduated from Harding, went back to West Memphis, and I graduated from West Memphis Christian, and they hired me on as the junior high coach and just worked my way up to varsity girls, and it was already established. So this is a great opportunity. I love the chance to be able to actually start a program, recruiting, and kind of doing it my way.
What are you finding most challenging about that task, about starting something where there was nothing before?
Really just getting the word out, getting parents, getting girls to understand we've got a program here, that it's an exciting program, that it'd be a place for them to really find their niche in basketball if they're wanting to continue around here. That's really I guess the hardest time. I love being on the road recruiting. I wasn't sure if I'd like that or not, being away from the family, but that's been one of the most exciting things for me.
Is it difficult, or actually more difficult than it would be, to recruit for a team that didn't exist 2 years ago?
Probably so. Again, coming in, I've never done this before, as last year, so I had a little bit of, naivete there. So I didn't know it could be difficult, so I just went out there and we had a lot of girls in this area. Most of my recruits come from this area, which is good. I do have one recruit. This will be her second year from Cleveland, Texas, outside Houston. I think she's the furthest away that we've got, but I was a little leery about it, but Coach McFadden did a good job of really getting the word out. When they hired me, I was still working at West Memphis Christian, and so I had to finish up my contract there. I took this job in January, and I had to finish up through May, and so they did a good job of getting the word out, and I'd come up here on the weekends, have tryouts, and we had a lot of girls show up. And
really?
Yes, I was really surprised. That was my biggest fear. I'd drive up here and walk into the gym and nobody be there.
Wow.
I'd be sitting there, but we had some good tryouts, and we had again, word got out, and so we had more girls show up this year, and so made my decisions a little bit harder on who to bring in. So, but we've got a good group. We ended up getting down to about 8 girls last year. Had some injuries, had some girls transfer.
Yeah.
But now we got 15 on the roster. Had 7 returners. So I was really excited about that.
That's fantastic. Now, last year, first season ever.
Mm-hmm.
I say ever again, in a long, long, long time. Tell us how you did as a first season back for many, many years. How many wins you had, and how the season progressed for you.
I thought we did a great job. We had 6 wins. We were 6-16,
which for a brand new
for
team
a brand new
is
program.
amazing.
That is really good, especially some of the competition we play against. What we're associated with, the National Christian College Athletic Association. There's a lot of schools our size in it, but then we've got a lot of schools that are kind of dual affiliation. There's some NAIA Division I teams. Matter of fact, one of the teams in our region is actually an NCAA Division II team.
Right.
And so that kind of hurts us a little bit playing against. They've got full scholarship players, and we don't have full scholarship players, but. Girls did a great job. Matter of fact, I think the most exciting thing was we won our first game, home opener last year. So that was exciting.
So you were 1-0.
We were 1-0 to start
awesome.
with.
That's great. At one time, CRC, I don't know if they still are or not, maybe you can answer this. Okay. At one time, the school was exploring the possibility of joining the NAIA, joining a conference in the NAIA. Is that still in the works?
That's still in the works. That's still in the works that we're talking about, just trying to get all the logistics together and budgeting and all that. But that's still on the horizon, I think.
Okay, so 6 wins last year. Mm-hmm. Who were they? Who'd you beat?
We beat Central Christian out of McPherson, Kansas. That was our home opener. And then we played the St. Louis College of Pharmacy up in St. Louis, and I beat them twice at their place and our place.
And I wanted to stop you right there. If you're a team that's been playing forever,
yes.
like St. Louis College, they've had a team for a long time,
Central
established
Christian.
team,
yeah, Central
and
Christian
you get swept by a brand new team that's never took the court before this
right.
year. How do you got to feel if you're that team? That's got to be demoralizing.
Well, you got to feel pretty good if you're us. So
yeah, sure.
I was real excited about that. So I was too excited to really worry about how they were feeling.
Yeah,
at that
I agree.
Time.
Boy, I tell you what, that's got to be a tough loss for them, but big win for you guys.
It was. We had some good wins. We had a few blowouts, and that's expected with a new program. And then we had several wins or several losses that were, within 5, 6, 7 points.
So you beat St. Louis
Christian Pharmacy. We beat
twice.
Twice. We beat Central Christian. Trying to think who else you think.
You slept a lot since then.
I've slept a lot. Really focusing. Trying to see if I got 2 girls here from my team. See if they'll help me out.
Yeah, they've got blank looks on their face.
They've got. They're busy eating donuts.
Give her a mic.
Oh, that's right. Dallas Christian. We went down to the Dallas area and played Dallas Christian, Arlington Baptist. Beat both of them.
Well, okay.
And that's 5. And then I guess we had 1 forfeit. Dallas Christian decided not to come back, not to come play us. But first year we're taking that one.
That's a win
every time.
Okay, so you had 22 games on your schedule last year. how far above you guys, say, in classification, did you play last year? The biggest of those schools that were on your schedule.
Not really. I guess when we went to the Central Regional Tournament out in Colorado, we played Oklahoma Wesleyan, and that was that's probably one of the biggest that we had. Of course, we've got Central Baptist in Conway, I believe, is Division II NAIA division. Most of our teams that we played were either Division II NAIA or kind of like us.
Well, I know you guys are just starting out, but the reason I asked that is because the men's team, as many of our loyal viewers know, began playing NCAA Division I schools.
Right.
We broadcasted their very first foray against a Division I school at Tennessee Tech, in late 2010. First time they had ever done it. First time we had ever broadcasted. And is that a goal of yours to play schools on that level at some point down the road?
At some point, I think it is. Right now, this year we've added a lot more games. We have 30 games on the roster now on the schedule, and a lot of the games are NAIA Division I teams. We've got Freed Hardman on the schedule. We've got Martin Methodist, Bethel College, teams like that are. We'll go out and play Oklahoma Wesleyan. We'll play Philander Smith, home and home. So we're trying to balance out, trying to get those bigger schools up, and trying to get some teams kind of at our level too, and hopefully the next goal is kind of maybe get some Division II teams on there, and then work up to what Coach Perkins does.
And he's fearless, man.
He
will take those guys anywhere to play anybody. If Oklahoma or Arkansas or somebody huge called him and said, "Hey, y'all want to play?" He would be on the bus.
He'd be there.
He would be there. Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about your 7 returning girls.
Sounds
good. And maybe even some of the new ones on the team. We'll talk about the girls on the team when we come back on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big time savings and hometown service. Always a bed, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
I've got yours and you've got mine. We switched headphones. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Our final, about 15 minutes left in the show, and we're talking with the coach of the, what in the world is going on behind us? Really? Oh, my gosh. St. Louis Cardinal fan behind us going off on last. Did you listen to the game last night or watch it?
I did not.
Came back from a 2-run deficit to win by 2 runs. And advanced to the National League Championship Series. And we've been talking about it, and now we've got people coming in on us. My gosh. Anyway, we've got actually about 12 minutes left in the show, and we're talking to the Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers head coach of the basketball team. This is Ty Clothier, and we were talking about this off camera a while ago. The name Clothier. Is actually the same meaning as the word clothier, someone who makes clothing.
That's exactly right.
And that's where the etymology of your name comes from.
It did. Made clothes for the Queen of England.
Really?
So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
And you tell anybody that'll listen that whenever you get a chance.
That's right. Always comes up in conversation.
Let's talk about your girls. You've got 7 returners.
I do.
Who did we lose? One player?
We lost both our post players, Trisha Dedman and Melody Engelman. Both our post players, so that was a big thing on recruiting, trying to get some post players in.
Okay, so 7 back, and of those 7, how many of those are starters?
Let's see, we've got Jordan Shelton, we got Charity Consumu, she's one from Texas outside Houston. Let's see, we got Rhoda Clausen that played at Rector, and then Trika Freer that played at CRA.
So these are sophomores.
These are Trika's actually will graduate with us. All these are their second year. That was the first year playing college ball.
But eligibility-wise,
she could come back and play.
If she wanted to take some postgraduate classes, she could continue to play.
In fact, I know Jordan's in that kind of boat. I think we've just started our early childhood and our PE degree teacher program at the college, so that's going to help me out a lot in keeping girls here. And I know Jordan's kind of switched over to that, so she could probably graduate, but she's going to stick around another year or two.
Good.
So we're excited about that.
All right, who'd you bring in?
We brought in Hannah Kirk. She'll probably end up starting as the number 5.
And where she? Tell us where they're out of.
She was from Rivercrest High School.
Okay.
And I brought her in. We got Lakin Martin from Thayer, Missouri.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing her play in some sort of a holiday tournament or something. Yep. And she's a decent ball player.
She is. She'll be redshirting for us this year. So she's working hard. So she'll be ready to go next year.
Okay.
I think. We brought in. Let's see, another post player, Tasha Gerard from Westside, who's also playing. She actually came in and played softball and decided she wanted to play basketball also, so she's kind of doing dual sports. We've got Erica Ewing from Missouri from Kickapoo High School.
Kickapoo.
All
right.
Yeah, so I always try to work that in too.
Kickapoo. That's a fun word. Or Jick Jack Jallywhack.
There you go. Kickapoo, Missouri.
Yeah.
But yes, sir.
You know we have microphones, Clifton. Clifton is doing what I do, only he's trying to do it without the microphone.
Kickapoo, Missouri, up by Joplin.
Yeah.
It's right up going up Interstate 540.
It's right next to Jick Jack Jallywhack.
They're real close. You know, for a guy that doesn't like me saying that when a guy puts on a great move on the football field, he has brought it up 2 or 3 times.
All the time,
yeah, I think
all the time.
And I'm not even gonna go there. Just move on.
Okay, any chance I get to take a jab at Clifton,
I understand.
And he does it to me too. So don't let him play a victim. He does it to me too. So okay, who we got left?
We also have Nikki Pierce from Harrisburg, point guard.
Okay,
quick, great ball handler. I think she's going to do well for us here the next few years. But we've got a great core. We got eight that came in. Like 15,
well, you've got tons and tons of basketball schools in our area.
We do.
And do you find that these girls are coming to you more than you are going out to recruit them, or is it about even? Are they competing for spots on your team?
I think it's about even. You know, a little bit of it, they like my charm, so, you know, they can.
Well.
So, you know, I don't have to worry.
Well, it's a good thing that CRC hired somebody with your charm, or else they'd be in bad trouble.
No, they like that right over there.
Coach has 2 of his players back there behind me that just lost it.
They're just laughing.
They just lost it.
Yeah. Is that why you girls? Give them a mic. Let's have some fun here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's.
What is your name? Tell me your name.
Tristan Clayton.
And what is your name?
Ainsley Broom.
Did you guys come to CRC because of Coach's charm, yes or no?
No. I came to CRC before I ever knew who Coach was.
Okay, see, we caught you. We caught you. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And are either of you starters?
No.
No. We see now. This one over here is embarrassed now.
Embarrassed, yeah. Well,
now,
that's
Dave,
a tricky question though, starter, because
hang on. This is a Marmaduke product.
Right, yep.
This is a Paragould product.
CRA, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah, she went to CRA.
From the academy.
Yeah, so
that's CRA's in Paragould last time I looked on the map.
Okay, but more specifically, CRA. These are two Greene County homegrown basketball players who have chosen to go to CRC and continue their athletic and educational careers.
That's right.
And so it's good that you guys are there, and as another outlet for some players to continue their careers.
I think so, and the whole asking if they're starters, and I think they understand this. That's a tricky question with what we're trying to do this year. The type of style of ball we're going to play is tack basketball. It's called the system.
So it could be anybody starting at any given time.
It could be, and a lot of times it's a lot of straight fast breaking, full court pressing, half court pressing the entire time, and we do mass substitutions. About every 40 seconds, 5 new girls come in. No kidding. 5 new girls come in. And
like hockey.
That's exactly what it is. It was started back at Grinnell College. Started it in Iowa.
Coach,
taken over that.
And so, Dave, well, I go to a lot of basketball games, especially high school. And if you are a fast-paced run-and-gun basketball team like a Greene County Tech, they play tough defense. I mean, they are so strict on defense. If you ever went to one of their practices, you would have a jaw-dropping experience. You'd be like, wow. It's like boot camp.
Yeah.
But that's what Coach Bolin believes in. Coach Bill Taylor taught the same thing. You know, when you have that type of play like you're trying to do, there are no starters.
There's not.
There's not.
There's not.
You have to utilize every player on that bench.
Well, I'm digging the whole line change like volleyball does that sometimes too, but primarily it's a hockey thing.
It's a hockey thing. That's a lot of people describe it as about every 30, 40 seconds you'll see 5 new girls go to the table and they sub in, and a lot of times what it is just wearing down the other team. Usually they find out about halfway through the game the other team usually has a meltdown. And they just, because most teams only play maybe 7, 8 deep.
Were you doing it that way last year?
We tried. We started it around Christmas, and
then you ran out of girls.
We ran out of girls.
Yeah.
We dropped below 10. You really can't do this with that many, but
you got 15 now.
We got 15
and
now.
So you can do that with 3 separate line changes.
They're excited about it. And
that is awesome.
So we're excited. I think that would be fun to watch.
And we hope if things fall the right way, we hope we're going to be broadcasting some of your games.
That would be great.
We're going to do some double headers. We hope. Clifton's still working that out, and I'm not in that aspect of this. I'm just the hired gun with the microphone.
Well, I understand that. Yes.
So, but yeah, we hope to be able to broadcast some of your games some point in the near future. We're working on it.
Now, while I know we're fixing to wrap up,
yes,
I want to say this to you and Coach, because I know I might be able to do it if it was done in the evenings. I just mentioned to these young ladies, we would like to come out to the gym one evening, bring the camera, do a live. Do a pre-recorded interview with maybe 4 or 5 of the girls.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be wonderful. I'd love that.
And do about a 30, maybe 45-minute 2-commercial break.
Introduce the whole team and where they're from and stuff like that.
And then we'll play that on a Saturday morning instead of having a guest here. That would be part of the show, and that would be pretty cool.
That's a great idea. Oh, I love that.
He loves it. Well, I'll tell you, he's been coaching for 20 years or whatever it's been, and this is his first TV interview ever.
Really?
Ever.
Well, you just stepped up to the plate.
I did. I'm big time now.
Hey, you would think he's been doing it forever.
And he hit a home run. And he hit a home run today.
Living the dream. Living the dream right now.
Do you coach anything besides basketball over at CRC? Are you involved in softball or volleyball or anything like that?
I'm also the head strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, well, there you go. That's in other words, for your girls.
I wish
and
just
some
for
of the
girls,
other,
but
some of the other sports.
All off-season sports.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, that's great. I'm so glad. I think we're done. Yeah, we're done. I'm so glad you came in. I wish we had more time with you. This is Coach Ty Clothier, the head coach, CRC Lady Pioneers. And Clifton, do you want to take a break and then come back and wrap up, or you want to sign off right now?
No, you just wrap her up, big boy.
Okay, we're done, and we will be back Friday night. We will be down in Beebe, Arkansas. Greene County Tech Eagles traveling to face the Beebe Pioneers in a game that has all of a sudden become more meaningful. Both teams winning their games last night. Both teams still in the playoff hunt. And then we'll be back here Saturday once again for another edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts and Bakery. We already know one of the guests guests we're going to have, and I'll go ahead and tell you. Coach Steve Ritchie will be here next week with us from Marmaduke, and we'll line up some more guests between now and then for you as well. So for Clifton Garmrath over there, I'm Dave Grimm, and we will see you Friday night.